And now we've got the wonderful Meghan Hudson here in the house. Meghan,
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming up. This has been an interview that I've been wanting for years. And you are going to be doing you already have the installation at
Right.
Lupilo.
Right.
You are an oil painter.
Right.
And alum of UCSC. And so I got the pleasure to see your pieces today. They're wonderful, and they're really extraordinary in their process as well as the final product. And so many of them are, tell us about it.
They are found soft serve selfies. I started with one big one initially. I was kind of, at the time, just looking for something to paint as an exercise. And the series grew into 10 of these ice cream paintings. It's been a great exercise. I really fell for it, fell in love with them.
So it definitely makes you want to have some ice cream when you look at them. Whose hands are they?
They're just foundlings. I don't know. Some of them, I bet I've got a screenshot and I could contact them and let them know I made this thing. I would like to do that, but maybe they'll never see them. They are just sort of like a part of our collective consciousness. There are millions probably billions of these kinds of ice cream photos taken with cell phones right before the ice cream is consumed.
And so I'm imagining you're an ice cream aficionado?
Sure. I love ice cream. Yeah, who doesn't?
But you were fascinating by the
number of cell
ice cream
phone photos.
selfie.
Right.
It's an ice cream selfie in a way.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And they're from all over the world.
Right. These ones are mostly American. Yeah, I would like to extend that. I would love to do just a matcha series. There is gold foiled soft serve out there. Yeah, I mean, the gold foiled one kind of exists for picture taking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these pictures are very bright, color, like the color of ice cream. You use oil paint, so they're very bright and shiny and ready to be consumed. They're almost, are they perfectly proportioned to the human? They're 16?
Not quite. They're 16 by 20, this series of 8. There's one larger one that's 30 by 40, but right now at Lupilo there are 8 16 by 20, which is, it's pretty big, but it feels also like a standard portrait size. I bet the ice cream's about as big as a head, or...
Okay, so they're bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're all up at Lupilo. And the opening reception is next Friday.
Correct.
As a part of the Santa Cruz First Friday art tour that's been going on for... I want to say 15 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just speaking with Just Chip, who was one of the people who started it with Kirby Scudder.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's about as long as I've been in Santa Cruz, and to see it grow has been really incredible.
Yeah, and Lupilo doesn't always have. They're not always a partaker of the First Friday,
Right.
And so tell us how that happened for you.
You know, I just I inquired. I have a bunch of girlfriends that work there, and I asked one of them, who do I ask? And it was Noelle, one of the owners, and I happened to see her very soon after, and I just asked, hey, how does one show their artwork in here? And she was like, how about July-ish, the end of July or something? Yeah, it was easy.
Is this your first?
It is. It's my first
exhibition.
Yeah, it's my first exhibition.
And it's something you've been planning for a while, because I know we've been talking about it for a while.
It is. Yeah. I really rejected painting while I was in school here.
As an art student?
Yeah. I know. That's why I came to study art. But quickly, my mind was blown as far as what art could be. And I said I was never going to paint again. But yeah, it's not something that I can like remove from myself. It's part of my hand-eye coordination, and it was something that I was increasingly compelled to do and encouraged. And yes, I am a painter.
You're owning it.
I am. I'm a super interdisciplinarian also, but I'm a painter.
You also paint palm trees.
Right, yeah, that's something I picked up while traveling. I think I was in Baja the very first time, and I had studied a little bit of scientific illustration here, and I'm not good with identifying like trees at all. I'm good with birds, but I was learning my trees down there, and these palm trees were beautiful. It was really windy. My paper was all over the place. The palm trees were all over the place, and it was so frustrating. And I slammed my sketchbook closed and hated them, and came back to them the next day, and I was like, wow, that's all right. I like that.
So you kept at it.
Yeah.
And you, these are very large, the two paintings that I saw today, but you have a whole series of them.
Yeah, I'll have a bunch of them on First Friday, little ones. They're probably like 6 by 10, and then a bunch of them. I think maybe 10 more palm trees will come to First Friday.
And these are palm trees from all over the world.
Yeah, mostly Mexico. A lot of Hawaii, too. Hawaii has some very special palm trees. Both Hawaii and Baja have endemic special palm trees.
And what I loved about the paintings were there's movement. You can see the wind that you're describing.
Yeah, that's the thing about them. Yeah.
They can go really... tell us about your travels. What takes you around?
Well, I had been wanting to travel so badly while I was in school, and I got really into derive. And
would you mind describing what that means?
Derive in French means to drift. Guy Debord first defined deriving in the 50s, maybe 54, 60s. He was this French theorist guy. And it is like a study, exploration in psychogeography, or the way that geography affects one's mind, or the way that you think, the way that space is defined. My work, I realized, like, while traveling, I don't know Paris in the 60s. That's where he was. I have traveled mostly stark, rural, desolate landscapes. That's something I'm infatuated with. Yeah.
But you can still apply the drift.
Yeah, right.
To rural or urban.
Right, yeah.
And so how do you find it has changed you, Meghan?
Gosh.
Because you have traveled quite a bit.
Yes.
In the last couple of years, I know from being in contact with you, and you telling me, "Oh, I'm going to Cuba." Whoa! Like
yeah, a lot. Man, it has affected me deeply. I itch for it like constantly. I mean, there's something though to being able to wander freely,
with no agenda, with no like I got to get there. It's open.
You really need that kind of openness in order to become intimate with a place, to not have expectations or to not know where you are. I feel like you really find yourself then. To find your bearings and figure it out. It is definitely one of my greatest skills.
You're listening to Meghan Hudson. She is a local. Is that correct?
Right.
Locally grown.
Right. Not originally.
Not originally, but she is here now and has been for a while. For
13 years, not 15.
Almost as long as the first Friday. And she is a UCSC alum from the art department, from the art school, and she is a painter. And you have an interesting process. You use mostly drawings and photographs?
I didn't get my first camera until like the day that I went on that first trip to Baja. The next door neighbor, a friend, was like, "Do you have a camera?" I said no. I didn't have a camera or a phone with a camera rather until pretty recently. But yeah, I just started doing that go around of Like
and then you bring that back to your studio?
Yeah.
And you paint from the photographs?
Yeah, sometimes. I will bring a bunch of abstract stuff. I definitely like to explore formally, like in that way. It's not always like photorealism. I'm constantly trying to push away from that or to step back from the camera, or from the canvas rather. Yeah, I have a tendency to just get closer and closer, more detail-oriented, which isn't necessary, or I already know how to do that. I want to figure out what I don't know how to do.
That's wonderful. So, Meghan, the opening for your first exhibition is happening next Friday. That's August 3rd. At what time are you asking people to come?
At 6.
6 o'clock at Lupilo, which is at...
the corner of Center and Cedar.
Center and Cedar. Yeah. Right by Hula's. And that's... there'll be more paintings up than what we got to see today?
Yeah, I mean, I may not put them up, but I'll have them available for sale, tiny ones, and I'll have them around. Yeah. I'm going to figure that part out when it happens.
And they're bright and beautiful, the ones that I got to see. Bright colors. They had a great space behind the ice cream cone.
Cool.
And I hope you have a wonderful time.
Thank you so much.
Meghan Hudson, thank you so much for coming up to KZSC tonight and talking to us about your exhibition for the first Friday next week at Lupilo.
Thanks.